Hello, everybody. So the first day of the summer SKB tournament just ended. 3 rounds got over. 3 rounds left for Sunday. So after day one, we have got 6 players on 3 out of 3. So it's like a warm-up day for the top players because the first couple of rounds you get easy opponents, third round maybe tough opponent, and so on. And then we have 2 players on 2.5. A lot of players are on 2 out of 3, and then 1.5, then 1. So that's how it is. So there are 3 rounds left. So there is a long way to go for everybody. And this time I'm going to bring in a few games. I'm going to show you a few games, few moments from some of the games, basically, that showcases some of the missed wins, blunders, upsets, tough matches, etc. So first, let us see a missed win over here in Niranjan versus Siddharth. So if you see here, look at this position. Niranjan has basically opened up the king side. Because of this knight, he cannot give the checkmate. So what Niranjan did was he gave a check. Knight came back, trying to play queen h6, but just a check. Oh, queen h6 and knight f6 was checkmate, but okay. Knight h6 again. You have to understand Niranjan is down by a piece. So he tries to get some play. He wants to play h5, h6. But then pawn takes pawn. And here Niranjan did not play h5, h6. He went knight h6 again, repeated, and did a draw by repetition. So even here h5, h6 seems very tempting. Opponent does not much to do because bishop e7 doesn't work. And there's no problem. But even at the beginning, over here, after d5, can you find a way for Niranjan to convert this? What should you do here, basically? Let me take you to one position later, like here, this position. I already kind of mentioned it. What do you think? A good idea for Niranjan to win this. Queen h6 is tempting, isn't it? Queen h6 and knight f6 is going to be tempting. Knight h6 is okay. Here, knight moves again, okay. And here after h4, here there's definitely a win after pawn takes. What Siddharth should have done was queen d8, but he didn't do that. Now this is Niranjan's chance. This is where Niranjan should have converted the advantage. What do you think he can do here? In the last position, it was not clear, but here it is very clear what to do next. If you found rook h3, excellent. Rook h3 and rook g3 is going to be mate. There is no defense. Now the queen d8 is too late because rook g3 is going to be lights out. Rook g3, king moves, and then queen h6 mate. There's no defense to that. It's a mate in 6. But unfortunately, Niranjan couldn't think properly there. He didn't look for the resource and he ended up in a draw. Even pushing the pawn would have been good, right? Even this would be okay, but then pawn takes d3, and I can understand he didn't want to go for this h6. There is still no checkmate threat, so I can understand that. But h6, h7 was a threat, but by the time queen d8 will come. Anyway, now comes a couple of stalemates. First one was done by Garv. Instead of winning the game, he just drew the game. From this position, what Garv did was he pushed the pawn, which is fine. Getting the king up was better. But okay, what he's doing is fine. King moves, king will get up to help the pawns. Yeah, so far so good. This is where he's going wrong because he should have played king f6 first. But okay, he pushed it. It's still fine. And he went here. He should have played king f6. You cannot promote to 2 queens. That is not possible because when you promote one pawn, the other pawn will go. So king d5 is holding on to both pawns, which is not possible here. And he played king e6, drawing the game. What should he have done? King e6, it's a stalemate. He can't go anywhere. Black can't do anything. So what should Garv have done in this position? If you were white, what would you do? If you thought of king c6, good. Just king c6, king moves, and king c7. That's it. Still, you cannot keep both the pawns. That you cannot do. You can push, he'll take, and you have to know the queen checkmate, and you'll win this game. So it's very important to be aware of stalemate when you're about to finish a game. So Garv should have been more careful in this position. Now another stalemate done by Bruno this time. So if you see here, Bruno's up by bishop and queen, just the finishing stage of the game. Bruno went queen moves, but then after h3, he went rook h7, thinking next move I'm going to give checkmate. But then there is no next move because black has no moves. The bishop is covering this square, so king can't go anywhere. So what should Bruno have done in this position? He can do a lot of things basically. He can just move the bishop somewhere here to give checkmate next move, right? That is one option. What else? I mean, you just have to give squares to the king. King has this square right now, but after the pawn pushes, that square won't be there. So the best thing would be just give checks. Queen check and get to the king. And now what is the next check? We can give a check here. Let the king come out, doesn't matter. Let him come out. It's easier to give checkmate that way. Rook check. King moves. Where is the next check coming from? Let's see. Queen check. Okay. Do we want him to come this way or this way? Let's push him this way. Now we can do the rolling checkmate. Yeah. King moves and then just again here there is no worry of stalemate. There's a pawn push. Let's say it pushes. Don't take that pawn. It's not needed. Pawn checkmate. That's it. So this is the way to do it. But again, you have to be aware of stalemate. Bruno was not, so he lost half a point. As in, he could have got one full point, he got only half. Now comes a very big upset by one of the beginner students against an advanced student. So Neamugil against Bruno. So this is where Neamugil found the correct continuation. And she played, Bruno has just played g4. Bruno allowed the spin on the knight, which he shouldn't have. And Neamugil put pressure on that knight. And she should have taken actually on f3 when she had the chance. But after g4, she played knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. A knight sacrifice for 2 pawns. But now there is too much pressure here on the pin. And there's no defense. Because knight takes, king moves. All Neamugil has to do is bring the queen in. That's it. It's game over. Queen moves, king moves, and then checkmate. But she played knight h2 for some reason. I don't know why. She wanted to attack the queen, okay. So Neamugil should be thinking checkmate, not queen in such positions. But again, knight h2, queen moves, knight takes rook, still completely winning, but she's not seeing queen h4, which is still going to be mate. Takes, yeah, now she plays queen h4. And queen h2, queen g2 would have been slightly better because queen's defending the third rank. But rook b2 and now queen went away. That is a big no-no. When your position is already bad, you shouldn't be you shouldn't be running away from the king side. That's basically a queen fleeing the country. The king is under fire and the queen is running away. So what should the queen have done? Queen g3, of course. Bruno's up by a piece. If he just manages to control everything, if he manages to defend, pawns don't matter. Who cares about the c pawn? You're up a piece. So if he just played queen g3, he would have been fine. But he went for pawn and bishop moves. Now there is no way to stop the checkmate. Unstoppable checkmate incoming. Even this would be checkmate in 2. This would be mate in 1. So he resigned here and Neamugil won the game. So that was a big upset by Neamugil. Now a smothered mate by Joe against Joe. They even have similar usernames. So let's see. What do you say? Joe Anthony was black. Let me flip the board. It was a mini game, seven move game. Bishop c4, knight d4. Okay. So this is what we call the Blackburn Shilling Gambit, which Joe Matthew was not aware of or forgot about because we've seen it so many times in classes and previous tournaments. He took the pawn, but that allows queen g5. So the correct thing would be to take the knight, exchange of the knight and enjoy the position, enjoy the good sender you've got. And black has double pawns after that. But he took the pawn, but allows queen g5. Problem is knight's hanging, g2's hanging. It might not look like that big a deal because knight f7 is very tempting, but it is kind of a big deal because now to save the rook, you got to move the rook, but that allows queen e4. You can't move the queen because knight takes queen, and bishop moves allows this nice, beautiful checkmate. So this was a Blackburn Shilling trap, which Joe fell for against Joe. Now comes the last thing that I want to show you, the clash of the titans. 2 super advanced students. Normally in the third round, you wouldn't face another super advanced, but this time there was a clash. And it was between Adrit and Vrikshav. So let's quickly go through the opening. The Ponziani opening. E4, knight out, and pawn c3. Knight f6, d4. Takes, e5. Here, most people would just take actually. But Adrit must have prepared queen b3 or something. He played queen b3, which doesn't harm the position at all. It's attacking the knight. So knight moves and then he takes. So it's like a small opening surprise for Vrikshav. He went bishop e7, knight c3. Ignore the question marks and the double question mark because Leach's is very cruel. d6, bishop b5. Now there's a threat of d5. So a6 takes, bishop moves, castles, bishop g4, knight d2, bishop g5. So Vrikshav activated the queen, but it immediately gets struck by the knight. Queen moves, knight g3, because there is going to be some threats over here. Even h5, h4, h3 is tempting. So knight g3. But now h5, h4 is very tempting here. I would immediately play h5 in this position, because white's pieces are kind of stuck on the other side of the board, but he can bring it in. So, but d5, good move, because it stops knight e4. h3, bishop moves, knight e2, knight moves in, rook d1. Ignore the, Lee just says it's a blunder, but Lee just wants you to play just queen c3, which is not really winning, but it believes white is a good position. But you can ignore that. Rook d1 is a very normal move. Rook b1, queen f3, giving away the b2 pawn. But what is the point that Adrit is trying to make here? He wants to activate the knight. So he believes that he has got enough compensation. The queen will get trapped almost. Queen h6, and then is it enough? The engine believes black is fine. Just a free pawn. What did Vrikshav do? Vrikshav played f6. Oh, that is ugly. That is ugly. Vrikshav wants to activate the rook, but nobody's going to take, right? Knight f4 and e6 is what happened, I suppose. Knight f4, queen moves, and now e6. This is the big moment. Here, Vrikshav is on 11 minutes, 11 and a half minutes. Did Vrikshav think? Yeah, he thought for more than almost a minute, but he still took. He should have just gone back, because after takes, Adrit proves the point. Now there's no defense against the bishop. The bishop is pinned and it's attacked, which means it's gone. The only way to defend it is king f7, which would still lead to the bishop getting taken. So this is where Vrikshav lost a piece. And from here, it is not difficult for Adrit to... Okay, here Adrit should have just played rook e1, yeah? Maybe he was afraid of knight e... No, that's not a problem. So just rook e1, rook a e1. Why would he bring the other rook in? He should bring this guy in and then enjoy the position. But he went back. And then rook b1 and exchange of rooks. Rook moves, knight c5, more exchanges. So it became all easy. Again, queen exchange. So it's very easy for Adrit now, because he's a full piece up and the c7 pawn falls. So from here, Adrit can win this in his sleep also. h4, f5. A very nice move by Adrit, stopping the knight from moving. Now he has to just activate his king. He activates his king, the pawn falls. He has to just push. And Vrikshav resigned here. So a very eventful day one. Day two will be even more eventful, because all the top players, the players at the top will be playing very tough matches tomorrow. So let's see what tomorrow brings, and well played to everyone today.